Cast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Catherine. I'll be your webinar facilitator today. I'd like to welcome everyone and thank you for joining us for the Summer Website Checklist for Lead Generation webinar. As a brief reminder, all lines are currently on mute to prevent background noise. If you have questions during the presentation, please type them into your chat box. We'll be happy to answer at the end of the webinar. This afternoon, it's my pleasure to welcome Jennifer Bagley, CEO of CI Web Group. Jennifer, you may now begin the webinar.
Thank you, Ms. Catherine, very much for the introduction. I also have with me Mandeep Singh Bala, who is head of our search engine marketing and pay-per-click and SEO teams as well. Mandeep, thank you for joining. And to all of you that are taking time out of your busy schedule, I know summer, well, we've got some areas of the country that are in blizzards and snowstorms and some that are already heated up. However, the process is technically the same. The only difference is, are you marketing for air conditioning services, heating services, indoor air quality services, and so forth? But everything is going to be relevant regardless of when you're watching this video or what season you happen to be in, depending on your area of the country. Now, this webinar is a little bit different. Essentially, what we asked is that anyone who is interested in attending today's webinar, we wanted you guys to be essentially the guide behind what we talk about today. So we gave everyone a link and you had the ability to submit your questions. We've taken almost all of the questions and formatted them into this document so that it would give us the ability to try and address as many of those Q&As that you guys had as possible. Let me start by saying there's a lot of them and there's a handful of duplicates. So as we get through some of the duplicates, if we've already addressed those, we'll just pass along to the next one. But really, I wanted to focus before we get started on a simple fact and measurement tool that can help you guys determine what's the issue, problem, or related area behind a lack of success or success when it comes to digital marketing. Everyone always asks, in our logo, we have a phrase, our series of words, essentially says technology, strategy, network, and mindset. The reason we have that there is because the majority of all problems or successes, wins or losses can be tagged to a combination of these four things. First and foremost, technology. This is the software, the systems, the hardware, the maintenance, the management, the support, the security behind all of the applications and softwares that you use when it comes to digital marketing. This may include your website, your CRM system. This might be a reviews application, your social media sites. This might be your analytics, your reporting, all of these different softwares that play a role in your success, wins, losses, progress, or lack of progress. Secondly is strategy. This is the timing and order. You may have all the right pieces of technology in place. However, if your strategy is off kilter, out of order, timing is bad, or competition did something before you did, technically strategy, which is the timing behind everything that you implement, that can also help with wins and losses, progress or no progress. Next is network. This is the people you surround yourself with and the people you listen to. This may be your staff, your spouse, your vendors, your partners, other people within the industry, advisors, coaches, hired or not. Every individual that you ask a question to is either a good index, meaning an expert, they've achieved great success and are extremely knowledgeable in that area, or they're guessing. And it's sometimes we ask the right questions to the wrong people and it produces the wrong result. So network, or the people you surround yourself with, the people you listen to, the people you ask questions to, those can also help you with your wins and losses. And finally, but probably one of the most important aspects is mindset. This is essentially thinking. How strategic are you being with your thinking? There's often a very big difference between those companies who are wildly successful and their thinking and those companies who are struggling. A lot of times it's not about the technology or strategy, and sometimes it's not even about the people. It really has to do with the mindset behind those who are trying to achieve greater results. There is a definitive difference between those companies that are making significant progress or accelerated results over those who are not, and the way that they think. So I just want to throw those out there, because if you take those 4 things and you jot those down, those can be things that you can try and assess whether or not your progress or lack of is caused from one or more of those things. And that's a good self-assessment for anybody to go through, is why am I not succeeding here? Or why am I not where I want to be? Why am I not accomplishing the results? Is it the technology? Is it the strategy? Is it the people? Or is it my mindset? All right, and as we go through these questions, these are going to play a role in answering all of your questions. Mandeep, do you have anything to add before we get started on this? I know that you work with thousands of different HVAC, plumbing, and electrical contractors. What do you notice as far as these 4 items and their impact on overall success?
Absolutely. So yeah, I would like to add the one thing definitely, which is mindset. I think you covered everything. It's all about mindset, how we think and how we implement everything in the strategy. When it comes to your growth, we have to take all the decisions in the right order at the right time, and that is extremely important. And we have to be strategic when it comes to your growth. Like, you have to plan out your resources, you have to plan out your budgets, and you have to focus on what's working and keep doing more of it. What's not working, let's allocate to something which is working. And what next? It's all about like trying and testing out what's going to work, and we have to follow the steps in the right order at the right time. So this is what we do, and we have seen massive results for our clients. And yeah, and they are achieving like compounding results over the time. And yeah, this is what I want to add. Yeah.
Fantastic. I would completely agree. All right, you guys. So let's get into your questions. These came from all over the country and Canada, United States and Canada. So let's get down and dirty. So first question we got was, I had another company building my website. It didn't work, so I'm asking for my money back and they're refusing. What do I do? So this may be a combination of technology or network, but it also might be mindset. So the first thing I would challenge you to do is really target this term right here. It didn't work. Technically, a website's function on its own, if you purchase a website, is to manage a consumer's needs or provide information when they get there. So if the website loads on the internet, and if the website has the ability to hold content, notice I said the ability to hold content, if the website has the ability to share your company's information, if the website has the ability to showcase images, if the website has the ability to be optimized on Google, notice I did not say is optimized on Google, then technically the website worked. What I mean by that is the technology or the process of purchasing a website, it's like buying a car. It's a thing. So does it serve its purpose? If you buy a car with no tires, it's not going to go very far. If you buy the frame of a car and you don't have an engine, then it can't go anywhere, right? So when you purchase a website, it may be, and it's hard to tell without knowing what you actually purchased. If you bought a website and let's say you have no content, technically the website works. The fact that you have no content is a separate issue. That's a mindset and strategy thing. If you bought a website and you have content, but you didn't purchase marketing or the resources that provide marketing services, then again, you still have a working website and you did purchase or write content that goes on the website. So those things are good, but you didn't invest in marketing. Therefore, the website technically is there, it's working, but you work for your website. your website's not going to work for you because you don't have those other things in place. So most of the time, this is just not having the clarity behind what does the term it didn't work or it works when it relates to a website. If it loads and it has base functionality that allows for Google to be able to view it, whatever is in it is a different question. That's a different service. It's a different group of resources. However, the website is ranked or where the website shows up on Google, again, that's a different set of resources. So mindset, that is probably the number one issue here. Sometimes there are technical issues where the website doesn't work because it's not set to index and follow on Google, or because it's old technology, or because it was built by someone who doesn't know how to code. It's actually broke. But we have to have clear definition. If you want great results, we've got to have complete clarity. So we've got to know the difference in between those. So what do you do about it? Well, it's going to depend what you're actually, we have to have a better definition behind this. So if you had somebody build your website, knowing what is the definition of it didn't work, that's where we've got to start. I can't technically provide a lot of advice without knowing what are your expectations, and are they real? Do they make sense for that? So if you've got a working website and it loads on Google and it has the ability to be marketed, it has the ability to hold content and so forth, then you're probably not going to get very far trying to ask for your money back. So you might want to take a positive approach and look for, what do I need to add to this website or do for this website in order to get that website to be successful, and then better define what your expectations are from the get-go with whoever you're working with. So if your expectations are, I want to purchase a website that shows up on page 1 of Google when someone searched for air conditioner installation in Linwood, Washington, now you've got a very clear definition of what you want to achieve, and that can be measured, and then you can say whether it worked or whether it didn't. All right. Next, I just launched a website and I want to know if it's working. What should I do or expect after my website goes live? Same kind of scenario. If you launched a website and that's all you launched, you don't have other services or marketing things, then technically you're going to go www. I'll just pull ours up, for example, hvacmarketingwebsites.com. If you just bought a website and you're wondering how do you determine if it works or what you should expect it to load. You should expect it to have whatever content you paid to have moved to it on that website. You should expect it to work if somebody's clicking on buttons, if they touch an image, or if they click on learn more, if they click on download. You should expect that anywhere you click on that website that works. And if something doesn't work, there's a lot of moving pieces to a well-built website. In fact, the better the website is, the higher the likelihood of having issues or errors. So if you go click on something and this doesn't go where you want it to, keep your mindset cool and just send them a request and say, hey, can you fix this? And that's an easy request, and that's something they can do. Sometimes they can get missed, so keep your mindset cool. If you've got 10,000 lines of working code and a great website and it shows up and you can see it and Google can find it if you search for your company's name, then great. After that, you got to figure out what's next. So that's where Mandeep was saying, what's working? Well, the website's working, it's live. What's not working? Is there anything broke on that website? And that's important. Things change, things break. It's technology, it's going to break all the time. So check it. If you have a maintenance team, an audit team, if you've got somebody monitoring your site 24/7 a day, they could catch everything. Most likely you probably don't. So when you see something that's not working, send a request. Hopefully you have a help desk system or a project manager or somebody you can shoot a note to that says, hey, this isn't working. Can you fix it, please? And that's cool. Just fix it. And then focus on what's next. What are you not doing yet that you need to be doing? And that's probably going to be related to content and marketing. All right, next. I want to know if my marketing dollars are working, and how do I track this? Mandeep, if you want to paste a couple links up there to give me some examples.
Sure.
Let's start with call tracking.
Sure.
So having the right systems in place to determine your marketing efforts, that's whether or not they're working. This is important. If you're investing in marketing and you don't have these things in place, then it's going to be difficult. So I'm going to use some of Mandeep's links. And Mandeep, do you want to explain this shot? This is the first thing we would recommend having in place for any or all of your marketing investments, whether it's television or radio or digital or print. This is going to help you guys determine whether the investment you made is producing phone calls. First thing to measure.
Yeah. Yes, it's definitely I would say highly recommended to track like where your marketing dollars are going and what marketing campaigns are really working for you. So it's really important to implement call tracking on your website, on your marketing campaigns, landing pages, Facebook, local listings, so that you can track, even you can track your offline marketing. If you're doing any mailers program, you can use call tracking number so that you'll be able to basically see how many phone calls you're receiving from your offline and online marketing campaigns. So this is one of our client, and they're doing all the campaigns, SEO, pay-per-click, local listings nearby now. So it's a combination of all the campaigns. They have got once they started, they have got 391 phone calls that you can see on this screen, and 310 first-time callers. So our basically dealers, contractors, they can listen to the phone calls. They can see who is calling, what's the name of the customer, and what's the city they have basically dialed in, and what's the duration. So this kind of reporting that tells you, and you can basically relate with your marketing dollars, so that you're basically looking at ROI on a monthly basis. And if this is something working, if the campaigns are really working, you should be continuing them. Otherwise, yeah, if any of the campaign is not working, you have to reallocate to something which is working. Yeah.
So Mandeep, how would somebody know if the call was coming in from SEO versus pay-per-click versus their local listings or Google business listing? How do they know the difference in between which of those campaigns are performing?
Okay, very good. So at the time of defining the numbers, so what we do is we buy different kind of numbers. So there are majorly two types of numbers that we should be buying for the campaigns. So when it comes to pay-per-click, any paid advertising campaign, we should be buying local numbers. So let's say I'm in Buffalo, New York. So I will pick up 716 location for the plumbing or any HVAC campaign, pay-per-click campaign, and we'll be tying up with that local number with the landing pages. So basically, we need to buy a local number for the paid campaigns and tie up with the landing pages, and we can define a whisper message. So our clients can, whenever they're gonna receive a phone call, they will listen a message, whisper message. This call is coming from pay-per-click campaign. This call is coming from offline marketing campaign. This call is coming from like Facebook campaign. So that is something we define at the creation of the numbers at the beginning of the call tracking campaign. And if we need to track the SEO calls, what we do is we install dynamic numbers code on the website. So if somebody is searching AC repair in Seattle, Washington, and they basically clicked on the organic result and they landed on the website, and they basically dialed the number from the website that they are looking at, that is actually dynamic number that we install from this call tracking. And multiple numbers rotate, 3 to 4 numbers rotate all the time, and we can track all the phone calls from that tracking number, dynamic numbers. This is how basically we track SEO and other calls coming from different channels. Yep.
So looking at a landing page, and let me pull one of, or actually give me a, I'll pull this one, Smith Plumbing. So one of the things Mandeep just talked about is having a landing page set up. Let me pull a couple of these examples. So Mandeep, why would you want to have a landing page instead of driving them directly to your website?
Very good question. So this is the question that I always get from all of our clients. And why to have a landing page for the pay-per-click campaign? Most of the companies, they target the entire website. So what's going to happen? Let's say if we run the pay-per-click campaign, if somebody is coming to, if somebody is going to click on the ad from Google and they're going to come to your website, they'll be going to different sections. They will go to the promotion section for promotions. They will go to the services section for services. They'll go to the review section for the reviews. So they will basically go here and there. And sometimes, like, the window is very short, and sometimes you lost the attention. So we have to basically create one landing page so that there is no outbound link. Like, user cannot go out of that landing page, and we have to bring all the information, like what's the phone number, how to reach you, and what do you do about your company, what are the services, what do you do, these are the services that you provide, and what are the offers that you are basically providing for that particular service, what people are saying about you, reviews on the same page, and where you serve, like Colorado Springs. If you're looking at those basically service areas, everything is there on the landing page. It is so fast, it is so quick that a customer glance at everything. So there are now it comes down to two things. Customer is going to call you or fill out a gravity form. So customer is going to call you on this number that we have basically created a call tracking number specifically to track your conversions, track your phone calls. So customer can call on this number, or customer can fill out this form that you're looking at. So let's say John is there. John needs AC repair. So John will say, hey, John, this is my email ID, yeah, phone number, and submits it. And you'll be notified, whatever the email that you have basically tied up with this landing page, you'll be notified with this lead, and you're gonna call John back to schedule an appointment. So this is how it works, and this is how basically you track all the phone calls and conversions.
So one of the things people have asked on the questions is how do they increase the number of leads that are coming in through mobile searches? And I noticed that we've got some different kind of layouts to have the best optimized mobile searches. What would you recommend? Well, let me back up real quick. One thing that I saw that was a continual question from a lot of the people that submitted different questions is whether or not pay-per-click worked, when it's important to do pay-per-click over search engine optimization, saying that they were investing in pay-per-click and it's not working. So I got a ton of different questions. And one thing I'll tell everyone as far as the nuts and bolts behind this, pay-per-click definitely has a higher conversion rate when it comes to mobile. If you ask, or I ask an audience as a speaker, how many of you click on the ads at the top of a search result? So if I go search for AC installation, and we'll go to Bellingham, Washington, for example. So I'll ask how many of you will click on these ads at the very top, and I'm going to get very few responses. You know, maybe 1 in 100 is going to raise their hand and say they clicked on the ads. That's because I'm showing them the view of a search done on a PC. Now, when it comes to how many people will click on the ads on a mobile device, everything changes. So if you're not comfortable with your pay-per-click campaign, one is obviously you need a landing page. That's going to help. So if people are concerned or they have a little bit more ADD when it comes to finding a or converting on a normal PC-based search or computer-based search, a landing page is the first thing to determine, do you have that in place? How well is the landing page designed? But secondly, Mandeep, you guys have really learned to optimize for the absolute best conversions when it comes to pay-per-click on a mobile, because that's where the majority of the conversions for PPC are taking place. Would you agree? And what are your thoughts on the layout of this? Why is this so effective?
I completely agree with you, Jennifer. So the change, so now we are seeing a totally drastic change in the mobile industry. So when it comes to mobile, so let me just share the stats. When it comes to the website, 62% of the traffic, 60 to 62% of the traffic is coming from the mobile devices. And this is continuously growing at a faster speed. And if I talk about out of 62%, 20% is coming, 20% of the traffic out of 62 is voice searches. People are using their AI devices like Alexa, Amazon, Siri, different AI devices they are using. And when it comes to
TV at 12:30 p.m. a new episode of the
and when it comes to pay-per-click strategy, 80 to 82% traffic is coming from the mobile devices. And it is very important to have a landing page designed for the mobile users. So let's say if a customer is going to look at your landing page, this is how it's going to look at. Like, we have created a landing page specifically for mobile users. Earlier, what used to happen is we used to have only one website landing page, but now we have to think for the mobile users, those are just searching through their AI devices, through their mobile phones. We have to have these three call to actions that you are looking at. And that mobile device shows three sticky call to actions. And Jennifer, if you're going to just scroll up to that mobile version landing page, if you just scroll up, as a user, if you just go, in that device. So these are the yes. So let's say a user is just basically browsing this landing page, and they'll be able to fill out this form so quickly, so smoothly, because we have designed for the mobile users. And there are three call to actions to basically make your phone ring. Like, they can take the action anytime, like call us, you will receive a phone call instantly to your phone number. Text us, they'll be able to send you a text. If you have the ability to receive a text message, that's good. If not, we can use the call tracking numbers to basically receive a text from the customer, and you will be instantly receiving in your inbox, email inbox, in few seconds. Third, if somebody's going to click on schedule service, automatically that it will take you to the form. It will take the user to this form, and they'll be able to, let's say John is again filling out this form, and you'll be notified with the basically this form submission, and you can call John back to schedule an appointment. So the game has totally shifted when it comes to mobile, and we are designing the landing pages in terms of mobile users. Yep.
That is perfect. Thank you. Hopefully that helps. That's going to address a lot of the questions that we had on here. In an effort of time, let's continue to see if we can go through here. So one of the things, Mandy, the question we were addressing was, I want to know if my marketing dollars are working and how do I track this? So the things that I took away from that is, number one is make sure you have call tracking set up. And let me show you how to find out some information on that. If you go to hvacmarketingwebsites.com, go to conversion systems. And then once you're on conversion systems, we're looking for call tracking. Technically, these are how you track it. So having the right reporting system set up, having an AI chatbot set up, having your CRM system set up, having conversion forms set up, and then all of the reporting that's necessary. When it comes down to the call tracking system, Mandeep was just going over, you guys, this is not more than a few bucks. It's 10 bucks, 11 bucks, I think it is, per phone number that you have. So if you're going to spend $1,000 on something, it's definitely worth it to pay a few dollars to determine whether or not that marketing effort is working, number one. And two, is it improving over time? If you have the ability to tweak the things that you're doing and make changes, because every marketplace is slightly different, you want to utilize the system to see, is it working and is it improving over time? So that's one of the things that's going to help you the most right out of the gate, is having the right forms in place, the right reporting in place, your call tracking system. Next, let's see here. I had another web company build my website and notice it has errors on it. What should I do? Ask them to fix it. So don't let, almost every website on the entire planet has errors on it. This is a mindset thing. This is, don't worry, this is not a technology strategy or network. Like, don't freak out. Again, you know, if it's 10,000 lines of code and they've got a misspelling on it, you might not have paid for a content editor or content proofer. So it's your content. Ask them to fix it. This is, don't freak out over this. It's I always say that, you know, don't throw away the whole house because the kitchen sink is broke. Just fix the kitchen. It's not a big deal. Next. Now, if you let me put things in perspective. If you have something broke on your site and you have no one to ask for help, or you don't have a help desk system, or you don't have somebody that's willing to fix it, or they charge you every time they fix something that's broke, and it's something that should be included as a part of the website, then you might want to decide, you know, who do you have doing the hosting and maintenance and support on your website, and that might want to change. If your website is seriously broke, this might be strategy. You might have a website that's old.
Interesting question.
No,
Mama.
I cannot get these AI devices to stop trying to answer questions. That was my watch talking this time, and last time I apologize for the loud interruption. That was Alexa. I had to turn her off. So it might be that you have an old website. So you probably have agencies telling you you can't keep your website for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. It's gonna break. So this might be a mindset and strategy issue. Technology may be broke. All right, next. I like a website is simple, just a couple pages. Why do I need a website with so much stuff in it? They seem too busy. So let me say this. You need to define, you need to have clarity. What role do you want this website to play in your business before you start picking out what websites you like? If you like a 2-page website, then the role you want that website to play in your business is not one that's going to get you new phone calls. It's not one that's going to get found on Google for anything other than your company name. So be careful what you like, because what you like or allow yourself to like may not help you accomplish your goals. So I'm going to put this on this particular line: clarity, focus, execution. Okay, this is the rule behind this. Without clarity, you cannot focus. If you do not focus on the right things, you cannot execute. And if you don't execute, you will not win. So the number one thing that holds people back is mindset, and it is not having clarity on what they want the end result to be. If I want my end result to be that my website gets found on page 1 of Google, then I got to have a website that's at least built on technology that's compliant with today's requirements. I have to have the right pages of content on my website. I have to have an SEO plan. I have to have backlinks coming into my website. There's a whole bunch of things you have to have if that's your goal. So if you want a place to send prospects that find your advertisement in a local magazine, then you only need a landing page, and a 1-page website is great. That'll work. So define your goal extremely carefully before you start attempting to define whether something is working or not, or what you're going to purchase or invest in or not invest in. And you may have the resources for something, you may not. But just remember this: if there is not clarity, everything behind that is going to fail. So when you're talking to a sales rep at a marketing agency, if you're talking to a project manager at a marketing agency, there has to be complete clarity. And this sometimes you can be clear as day, but your expectations can be also completely out of alignment, and that can cause frustration as well. You may say, I want to have a $10 million home on waterfront property with my own boat launch, but I have a pre-approval letter for $175,000. That's what I mean by if you have clarity, but reality may not align with that. So just make sure you've got complete clarity, and is it realistic? Is it possible? And then it's going to depend on who you ask. So network, who you ask, they need to be really upfront. Okay, next. I see you already have clients in my area who are on page 1 of Google. Why would I work with you if you are already helping them? Mandeep, would you like to take this one?
Oh yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to like, yeah, generally we get this question like, there are already existing competitors, those are ranking, and how are you gonna take it? So I would say it's really a good strategy to be having like more competitors right there in the top 5 spots, and if the traffic is coming good and the phone is ringing, I think it's really a good strategy to be on the 5 top spots. Yeah.
So here's how I'll explain it is. No matter what you search for, and your world, it essentially is, what do you want to sell? So for you guys that are in hot areas right now, AC installation would be a good term. And the city, where do you want to sell it? That's going to be the city and state that you guys are in, or at least the city. And that's going to open up a drawer for consumers to search. So if I live in Bellingham, Washington, and I'm looking for AC installation, I'm going to search for AC installation Bellingham, Washington, or I'm going to talk to my watch, or I'm going to talk to my AI device, and I'm going to say, hey, blank, I'm not going to say any of their names right now because they'll keep talking, but hey, blank, what's the best air conditioning installation company in Bellingham, Washington? And that's going to open up a drawer. Inside this drawer, for example, there's 1.2 million pages in this drawer. And on this showcase of options, I have 3 pay-per-click ads. I have 4 Google business listings, which is a local listing. And I have 10 search results, which is organic results. If I'm paying for pay-per-click, I can show up in this area. So sometimes we'll have a client where the majority of what they're doing is pay-per-click. So they'll show up here and they get this audience, and this audience, and this audience. They're all different. They're not quite the same person. This audience may be because they have, they live in that area and they're doing a mobile search, or they said with the best reviews when they were doing an AI search. So you're going to get your Google business listings to show up. Whereas this one, these are going to be people who are searching on a computer. Now, for example, we built this website and we built this website. Both companies are showing on page 1 of Google in the organic, which is produced by having a well-built website with the right search engine optimization, link building, and so forth. So both of these companies are showing up on page 1 of Google. No matter what a consumer searches for, they have a minimum, absolute minimum of 10 options on page 1 of Google. For us, I would like all of our clients to own or to be one of those 10 options on page 1 of Google. On top of those 10, you also have another 3 or 4 in Google Maps, and you have potentially another 3, 4, 5, or 6 in ads. So the average marketing and advertising company that does digital or performs digital has the ability to support and market up to about 15 companies in the same city with the same service. And it's going to depend on you as the customer, the dealer, the business owner, and what you decide to invest in, whether or not you're going to show up here, or here. It's also going to depend on 101 other factors. So there's a significant difference between this account and the reviews they showcase versus this account. So some of the effort or some of the results are completely dependent on your marketing agency and the work that you subscribe to and the work they do, and some of it is also depending on you. Both parties have to come to the table with an appetite. Your job is to get reviews. your marketing agencies to make sure that those reviews get there. In a nutshell, a marketing agency can handle about 15 accounts, and they can get them in this, trying to sell the same exact service in the same exact city. Outside of that, they should stop taking on new clients for that specific set of search terms and locations. The beautiful part is, if we have 10 accounts showing on page 1 of Google, we're not going to try and hurt our own clients' websites to get higher rankings. That's what competitors do. So it's actually helpful and easier to keep 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 accounts in the top 5 listings for us if we have access to those than it is to spread those out. And when multiple agencies are fighting and duking it out, trying to get their client to show up on a page 1, position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rank. So that's my recommendation when it comes down to working, is go look and see on page 1 of Google for the specific service you want to sell in the specific city you want to sell it, whose websites are there. You definitely want to pick an agency that owns the top 5 listings across the board. And there's only 5 agencies that are the top digital marketing agencies for HVAC. So you need to start with one of those and we'll work backwards. All right. Let's see here. So somebody said, I want to sell air conditioning repair in Saskatchewan, but after years of paying marketing and advertising companies, I never made it to page 1. What does it take in Canada? Is it a different process? Is it because we hired a US hosting company? I'm just going to pull this report real quick and do a quick search. So for air conditioner repair in Saskatchewan, there are 2 million pages in that drawer. So first and foremost, I don't know how long you've been investing, but 2 million this is a high competition search. So we'll skip the ads. We're talking about organic. We're going to skip the Google Maps account and we'll move right into organic. So page 1, position 1 is Yelp. That's another search engine. I'm going to absolutely just skip that. That's a whole nother webinar. Number 2, this happens to be a client of ours. This is Efficiency. Next is Furnace Guys. Next is Yellow Pages. Next is Job Heating. Then JA Heating, Courtesy Plumbing. So I don't know which website happens to be yours. There's some obvious differences. So the website that holds a page 1, position 1, this one, you'll notice that the website is secure. First off, this website is not secure. And I saw a couple other ones that were also not secure websites. Secondly, just the title and labeling of the homepage of that site is different. Now, I'm going to pull this site up because technically, if you want to be on page 1, position 1 of Google, you need to figure out who's there, which company website is there, and what are they working with. So the easiest way to do that is to take this website, okay, and you're going to get rid of the security certificate, which is HTTPS. 100% of you have to have a secure website. That's first and foremost, or your website's going to say this website's not secure, don't come. And get rid of the W's, and we're going to type in the word site, colon, and then we're going to do a search. What this is going to show us is what are we working with. Luckily, this is a mathematical game. So site, colon, and then Efficiency Heating, this is going to show what does Google see from this website. So for Efficiency Heating, Google sees 434 pages. So the first thing to know is if your website has less than 434 pages, you're probably going to have a hard time competing. Depending on how long this domain name has been in existence, if they've been around since 2001 or 2006, and your website, you just launched your domain last year, you're going to have a hard time competing. If these guys have significantly more reviews, if their website is more compliant, if they have more backlinks, there's 100 different mathematical equations or factors that determine how does this website get beat by you. So I don't recommend, when it comes to this one, get to page 1. I like that you're saying getting onto page 1 is first. Because you're going to want to start with trying to beat a website that's a little bit lower down and something that's not performing as well. So this one doesn't have the W, something's set up wrong, the .ca. I'll pull up pro service. Each one of these has something different. We'll look at pro service and see what they've got going on. So they have a lot more pages than the first one ranking. So it's not just one factor. This site is lower on the page than efficiency was, but they have double the amount of pages. So something else is missing. It's either SEO, link building, maybe they haven't had this URL as long, maybe they don't have as many reviews, maybe their content is, they've got less content, more pages, but less content. All of these different factors have to be determined. And essentially, when you guys are trying to compete, what you're looking for is who's on the first page of Google that I can kick their tail, that I can beat. Okay, so let's see here. I'm gonna hit. So real quick, how can you get your phone to ring quickly? We'll take this one. Pay-per-click. Pay-per-click, you're looking at 60 to 90 days to have a working, well refined pay-per-click campaign to be able to get results, whereas search engine optimization takes time. And let me give you some math on SEO. So let's say you have all the right things in place and you're trying to get found for AC installation, Bellingham, Washington. This number right here is going to tell you how long it's going to take. So the smaller this number, the faster you can get on page one of Google with a well-built website, an SEO plan, some link building, content / pages on your website, one or the other. The bigger this number, the longer it's going to take. So if I change Bellingham to Los Angeles, instead of there being 1.2 million pages to compete with, you have 319 million pages to compete with. That is a significant difference. So this may take you many, many years, and the mathematics are going to be extremely different to get on page one of Google. You also have an entirely new set of competitors that didn't show up on the other search that now you have to think through. So you have your Google sponsored ads or guaranteed service ads, plus your pay-per-click ads, plus Google business listings, which you have to have an address in Los Angeles to be able to play this game. And then you have a lot of directory engines that are ranking on page one. So that means you got to beat Yelp and Home Advisor out of the gate. And then we start looking at organic rankings here. So every single search term and geo-target or city, the competition, the questions, the strategy, the time, how long it takes, how much money you need to spend, it all changes. So this is where I'm going to go back to mindset plays a huge role. And well, I'm just going to go right here because the rest can be worked out if this is on point. So when you say my website's not on page one of Google, anyone who knows what they're talking about should require you to answer one question. It should be for what and where. For what and where. If you say my website's not on page one of Google, for what and where? Well, for anything. That doesn't help because each individual term, if I say AC installation in Los Angeles, this is a specific drawer with specific competitors, and it requires a specific strategy. If I change this to repair, this is going to open up a different drawer with different pages, and it requires a different strategy. The same account is not, or the same company is not showing on page one, same dealer here as it is. Let me go change this, and I'm going to put these side by side. Okay. So be careful when you're communicating to use very, very clear or ask good questions to the right people, right? The strategy for AC repair in Los Angeles is different. The competitor that has to be beat is different. Now we're going to switch it up. Let's go to Glendale. We'll go to California. So now we're down to 7 million instead of 20 million. So we're just going to switch to cities that are right outside. I'm going to move both of these to installation. So for AC installation in Los Angeles, the population is greater, which means your opportunities are greater, but the competition is significantly greater. In order for you to make any money, you need to be on page 1, position 1 of this number. So you need to be number 1 or in the top 10 of 319 million, or for Glendale, you need to be in the top 10 for or of 7.5 million. So if I scroll down here, this area has a different set of competitors. So every individual item on your website, you'll notice here, okay, this, okay, there's one of our clients showing, this is for AC installation Glendale. Now you're going to see that's the home page of their website showing there, which means they probably have a physical office in that city. For this one, you're going to see LA heat. So they actually put LA in their domain, and they have a page titled specifically Air Conditioner Installation Los Angeles. What do you want to sell? Air conditioner installation. Where do you want to sell it? Los Angeles. If you don't have a specific page designated that says air conditioner installation in that particular city, you cannot play that game. So you cannot measure a marketing agency for something that doesn't exist. If you haven't written or purchased or built or transferred a page that specifically says what you want to sell, where you want to sell it, there's nothing to measure them against. So that should cover a lot of the questions I saw in the document. You guys, we're getting low on time, so if anybody has questions that are not on here you want me to address while you have us on the call, or Mandeep to address while you're on the call, take a second, use the chat box, and in a couple minutes I'm going to switch over to Catherine and she'll go over those questions. Otherwise I'm just going to keep rolling. All right, so the next one says online access told me Google is going to go away, so SEO doesn't matter. If you hear something like that, you already know it doesn't sound right. It's probably not. That probably just means, and I happen to know these sites pretty well, that the sites just don't rank well. So that's an easy way for them to say that. I'm just going to leave that alone. So if somebody says WordPress websites are horrible, it might be because they don't have a coder that builds WordPress websites. So do your research. WordPress websites are the top ranked, biggest, largest, most optimized, and easy to rank website there is at this particular state and time. So kind of an example. Let's see here. I hired a website company to build my website and transfer all my content. I told them I expect them, and they transferred all my content as is. I told them I expect them to fix all my content before moving it. They refused to do so. Now I want my money back. Do I have to sue them to get my money back? Okay, so let's just leave suing people out of it. And this is probably mostly a mindset thing as well. When you hire a web company to transfer all of your content or to rebuild your website, let me put it like that. When you hire them to rebuild your website, that doesn't automatically include proofreaders, content writers, and so forth. That's a separate line item on your agreement. So they're going to move, or they should move, all of the content that will not hurt you, meaning no duplicate content. So if you have duplicate content on your current website and they're trying to get you better results, they're not going to transfer content that was snagged or stolen from another site. They're going to skip that. They are going to transfer all of the content, or should transfer all of the content from your current website, because they don't want you to lose any ranks or ranking that you may already have obtained. However, They're not going to go modifying content unless you hire somebody who's a content writer or an editor or a copywriter to specifically do that. They're going to transfer it. What web companies do is they have graphics designers. They went to art school. They're creative. They draw and create and design things usually in something called Photoshop. And you have developers. Those are coders. They work on a screen that looks similar to the Matrix, and they code websites. You'll usually have some kind of content transfer or administrators who will transfer what your content is, but writers are usually totally separate. So I would chalk this one up. My question that I would ask you is, do you have the ability to log into your website and go edit your content? Or do they have a resource or a referral partner or somebody they can refer you to go, that's a copywriter that can go through and do those changes for you? So again, don't throw away the whole house because the kitchen sink is broke. Ask if you can log in and make the changes. Ask if you can pay them to log in and make changes that you find, or refer you to somebody. Not a huge deal. That one's an easy fix. Focus on the things that really, really matter and let the rest. Ms. Catherine, do we have any questions that are more urgent right here?
So I ended up muting you instead of unmuting me. Sorry about that. So I do have a question waiting, and I did want to just mention, of course, use your chat box. We'll be happy to answer your questions, and you will receive a follow-up email with the link to this recording. So if you'd like to refer back to it, you'll have that. And one question is the tracking tool that you mentioned an additional cost?
So probably talking about the call tracking system. Yes, that software requires us to purchase phone numbers and to pay for those on a monthly subscription, but it's not expensive. Let me go down. So they're $12 a line. It's a monthly subscription. You do not have to be a current client of CI Web Group to subscribe to this. We can install these tracking numbers on anybody's site. So you can subscribe directly online, or you can contact us via chat or phone or email, and we can answer any questions you may have as well.
Okay, great. So that's what I have at this point in time. I did want to also mention there is a post-webinar survey, so feel free to provide some feedback. We do always look forward to hearing from you. And I know we're right about at the top of the hour, so I wondered if there's anything you wanted to say in closing today.
So first, I want to say thank you. Second, I want to say I did not get through everybody's questions, and I think there's a lot of really, really great questions. So I want to thank everyone who took the time to submit those, and I want to make sure those get answered. We are going to host another webinar to continue this conversation and address these questions. It will be posted on our events calendar. So if you go to HVAC marketing websites, we're probably going to do this via a live Facebook feed so we can bring more of our team members on. But if you're interested in joining that live Facebook feed, you can sign up right on our events calendar and you can access that right here. If you have questions, want to sign up for a free strategy session and so forth, feel free to reach out. You can do that via chat. Again, give us a ring or sign up for a free report or give us a normal call.
All right, great. Well, thank you so much, Jennifer and Mindy. We appreciate it as always. And for everyone who took time out of your busy schedule, whether you're here live now or later on the recording, we do appreciate that as well and look forward to talking to you all on another webinar soon. Have a great rest of your day, everybody. Bye-bye.